judicial findings. The juror's contentions. Once a rogue, always a rogue, I say. Different breed was law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. That's not related at all, likely. What are you on about? Jeez. The accused attempted a theft on the previous day. I can see it. I'm in for a busy day ahead. I am a ballistics expert. I've seen many shootings. There's nothing I do not know about guns. Okay. It would seem there is little remaining room for doubt. I have to admit, I was rather bowled over by the argument put forward by the chap in black. But when that fell apart like a house of cards, I saw that I had jolly well been hoodwinked. Well, no more. The whole courtroom is turning against me. It's not fair, Iris. The prosecutor's being mean. Just because Ginny's done some things she shouldn't have done in the past doesn't make her a murderer. Allow me to savour this fruity vintage, while I savour the spectacle of your fruitless debate on the matter. Here's to the truth coming out, eventually. That's enough preamble. Counsel, proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. Once a rogue was a rogue, I say. Different breed towards law-abiding citizens. As only 2 bullets were found at the scene, I would say the whole case is done and dusted. You don't need a stereoscope to see the truth here. Every which way you look at it, it was that pickpocket. You, again, I want to try and get more out of you, because what... I never imagined that simple operation would cause me such grief. So I've barely got anything going on here. Would you please stop muttering about things that have nothing to do with this trial, sir? The defendant's life is on the line here. Well, the thing is, I couldn't really say that it's nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? Did you operate on Shlomes? I mean, there's no question that the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. It's quite inexplicable, don't you think? I almost don't want to ask, but this surgery you've been muttering about all this time, you were operating on... What was the fellow's name now? Hairlick? No, Hairlock? No, Hairlock. Hairlock Shlomes, by any chance? Yes, good lord. It was that Hairlock fellow. What? You're the surgeon that operated on Mr. Shlomes? That's right. Using the very latest anesthesia techniques, I might add. It was a fairly major op, I can tell you. This is crazy. Let me see, the fellow was brought in not long after midnight, if I remember correctly. They said he'd been shot by some criminal or other, soaping him up like a shot. But the funny thing is, I went over his insides with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find the bullet anywhere. So I'm afraid I had to rub my hands and just stitch the fellow back up. Just remembered I've not examined the music disc thing. I hate to state the obvious, but... Yes? Surely that's because the bullet is still at the scene of the shooting? The counsel for the defense is correct. As is clearly shown in this photographic print. The bullet that the Skulkin brothers fired at Mr. Shlomes hit him in the stomach region, then exited his body and lodged into the shop wall, where the calendar was hanging by the door. I think you'll find it's really quite simple if you just consider the problem three-dimensionally. Who do you think I am, son? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. As soon as I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back? Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of injury. No sign that the bullet had left his body at all. Huh. What? That's the point. The only logical conclusion was that the bullet was still somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. I'm still none the wiser even now. How many times do I have to say it? This changes things. Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody please solve the mystery? It's almost as much of a mystery as how this jury was put together. Indeed. The mystery of where that bullet ended up is infuriating. Where's an expert when you need one? I'm a ballistics expert. Where's an expert when you need one? But we need to check, because I did forget to do this. Alright, okay. Obviously we'll investigate that. Oh, McGilded. That's the man you defended in court a couple of months ago, isn't it, Bruno? Yes, rather mistakenly defended. And what his name is doing on the back of this disc? It's a question I'd love to know the answer to myself. It's like we want the blood here, don't we? Oh, Bruno, look! This is blood! Yes, you're right. Just a small smear, but definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I might have noticed that before. Then it's my time to shine again. I thought I'd be waiting forever. Alright, hold still with that disc, Bruno. Can we get this done quickly, Iris? In a flash. What colour? Green? Because that'll confuse things. Yeah. Oh, a lovely bright shade of green again. Wait, that colour? What is it? It's just that green. It's not the first time we've seen that colour, is it? Blood samples portfolio has been updated in the court record. So whose is the green blood? That's the thing, like, whose is the green blood? Because we thought that was Schlome's, but it's not. Okay. But anyway, let's pit you against you.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict the idea that all I do is pit jurors against each other. Oh, ballistics expert. Pitting. On the night in question, Mr. Schlomes was shot by one of the Skulkin brothers. But since there was no sign of an exit wound on his back, we must assume the bullet didn't pass through him. However, no bullet was found lodged in Mr. Schlomes' body either. Furthermore, a bullet was found lodged in the wall of the shop where Mr. Schlomes was shot. Juror number 6. Hello, my name is Villain. Pleased to meet you. Your name is Villain. Alright. There's apparent contradiction in the facts that is so clearly troubling juror number 4. Are you able to explain the mystery? I have seen very similar situation in Motherland. It was night. It was blizzard. I was running away along mountain road in freezing cold. Golly. The snow was piling high on both sides of the road. It was very narrow and dangerous. My pursuers had hunting rifles and they were on dog sleds. Mental note, don't ask too many questions. I was shot from behind, and I fell down in snow. And this situation was very similar to what I hear today from Doctor. They could not find bullet in my body, and no sign of, how do you say, exit wound? Then, where did the bullet go? Bullet never hit me. Well, if it never hit you, why did you fall down? Bullet hit frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke away from a lump of ice and pierced my body. So what pierced Schlomes' body? It made deep wound and looks just like bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, a piece of ice quickly melted inside me. And that is solution to mystery of disappearing bullet. But that doesn't answer the question at all. Shooting happened in a pawnbroker's shop. Not some snowy mountain road in another country. Just an idea, but we might not be looking at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno. Where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, in his stomach, sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where he always wears a little pouch on his belt. What's in the pouch? A pouch? Actually, I might have noticed something like that. Yes, a pouch. It's where he keeps these glass vials of very dangerous chemicals that he uses in his investigations. What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Schlomes was wearing? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when he arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. If I may... Lord Van Zykes? Well, I realize it is forbidden for the prosecution to interject during a summation examination. I should inform the defense that I have the pouch in question in the antechamber outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived on the scene and found Mr. Schlomes injured, they removed the pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was getting forgetful for a moment. Since then, it has been in my safekeeping along with all other evidence relating to the case. Maybe you should let us know about this evidence? I can personally vouch for the fact that it has not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. But extremely unconventional during a summation examination. I must demand the prosecution present the item in question with all speed. Bring forth Mr. Sherlock Holmes' pouch. Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. I see. So this is the pouch worn by Mr. Schlomes on the night in question, is it? Definitely broken. It's blue. Look at that. One of the files is broken and the leather around it is scorched black. It's almost as if the file exploded. Exploded? So that night, a bullet from the Skulking Brothers gun struck Mr. Schlomes' pouch. It was the glass file exploding that caused the fellow's injury. This bullet did not penetrate the victim. It was deflected into a wall of shop. A delightfully complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery has been solved at least. It has no bearing on the truth of this case. The bungling and burgling brothers shot the detective, and the accused shot the pawnbroker. I'm not convinced they did shoot the detective now, but there was a shot, so, The pertinent facts of the case remain unaltered. At least the mystery is solved. I can sleep easy tonight. It's just very much that question like, well, whose blood is this and how did the blood get there? There had to be another person if it's not Schlomes. Thank you, young man. Thank you very much. Glad I could help. Due to its bearing on the conundrum just solved, the court will sequester this scruffy pouch as evidence. But his pouch isn't scruffy. Schlomes' pouch has been entered into the court record. Now, the summation examination. It would appear the defense is somewhat struggling to alter opinion. Please, my lord, a little more time. After all, that's a new piece of evidence. It could be a valuable clue, and you can't afford to overlook anything here, Ryu. There's still a way to turn this around, somehow. I'm sure of it. Alright, let's look at what we got here. Oh, what does this say, actually? The pouch Mr. Schlomes was wearing around his waist at the time of the shooting. One of the glass vials is smashed. There were scorch marks around it. Like something was fired, sure. Well, the bullet's there then. That's 3 bullets, so there's 3 shots. But did no one think to even check that the bullet was still even there? Like, come on. It's really scorched badly just here. Oh, the strap is broken, look. This must be where the bullet hit then. Let me see. And that's a major piece of evidence right there. What the? There is, look. I know where the broken file was. Do you see it? Ah, that's Skulking Proffer's bullet. What a stroke of luck that it hit its pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there were 3 bullets fired at Windybanks that night. Not exactly what the juror was talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that juror again, I think. What? Which juror? What? The 3rd bullet has been entered into the court record. So, which juror? I don't think there's anything else to investigate here. Just that, really, wasn't it? Alright, so which juror? Well, he always turns up at just the right moment. Does he always come in the form of a pouch? Seriously, though. Sounds like the great detective was on death's door. But maybe his injuries won't be for nothing. That pouch could be a very valuable clue. It is. And Zerogo is a rogue, I say. Different breed towards law-abiding citizens. So only 2 bullets were found at the scene. I'd say the whole case is done and dusted, so I feel like we have to press on her then.
Hold it!
It's the number of bullets that has you convinced. Only 2 bullets were fired, and the 2 guns that fired them have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asked me how many are invited for dinner, I always tell her to count the table settings. Oh, that's logical, I suppose. Although, yes, sometimes after dining, crockery does go missing. 1 or 2 guests rather like the fine china. Does your employer dine with thieves? So I suppose there was another bullet somewhere of which we were unaware. I'd have to reconsider my position. A 3rd bullet somewhere on the scene. Could that be possible? Yes. What? Prove it. Allow me to show you then. The 3rd bullet. The 3rd bullet, a projectile we discovered lodged in Mr. Shlom's pouch. It caused one of the files to explode, injuring Mr. Shlomes.
Take that!
Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes. On the night in question in Windybank's pawnbrokery, another bullet was fired.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery, you Nipponese conjurer? Where did you find that bullet? It was lodged inside Mr. Shlom's pouch. What? This pouch was removed from around Mr. Shlom's waist before he was taken to hospital. And since then, it has been touched by no one. Do you mean to say the shot fired by the Skulking brothers that night? Yes, as your lordship has surmised, it hit this pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. We already know the whereabouts of the bullet fired at Mr. Shlom's. It's clearly visible in this photographic print. Ah. 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. So it's like, I'm just thinking with the blood, it's like, assuming that blood there is where it came from at the time, like, you know, it would very much be, other people. It would have to be your blood. So why were you there, Eckert Benedict? And why did you get shot at? And where are you? Because clearly you've been bleeding. Like, your blood's all over the wall, essentially, so like... You must have gone to a hospital or something. 2 guns from the scene have already been submitted into the court record as evidence. Yes, that of Mr. Windybank and that belonging to the Skulking brothers. An examination of both guns revealed that only a single bullet had been fired from each. So I'm thinking so far what we've got is on the night in question. Let's see here. It's like, sure, Gina turned up being like, hey, give me the thing, I want to go in the back, blah, blah, blah. But someone else turned up. He turned up, again, looking for stuff. He had a gun. And Gina fired at him. Shot him. He didn't die, but it was in self-defense and all that type of stuff. Or maybe Windybank did. That could be an option as well. And then they tried to escape into the back here. Yeah, they escaped into the back. But there was the hole in the door? The hole in the door is still a question for me, but yeah, Eggert then decided to shoot through the hole that was in the door into the back. It's clearly Eggert that's done this, like Eggert's the one who killed him. And I think Gina's the one who shot Eggert. It's the timing of the events and like why people are going where. It's just the Skulkin brothers. It's very much they turned up later. They did shoot at Sholmes, but it didn't kill him or anything like that, obviously. And it didn't even injure him. Just got that file. And that's what's confused everything. So if we take that and them out of the equation, we get a better idea of what's going on. They're not actually related, are they? They just turned up later and just confused things slightly. Because again, it's all down to that green blood, isn't it? That's what's coming out here. Only a single bullet had been fired from each. Ah. There's a third gun somewhere, essentially. But that must mean... That's right. We now know that on the night in question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 2 bullets were fired from the guns recovered from the crime scene. And until that incontrovertible inconsistency is somehow explained, we cannot and must not pass judgment. Oh, yes, quite. Third gun, you say, huh? While the summation examination remains incomplete, the court has been presented with new facts. Facts that would appear to shake the very foundations upon which the case against the defendant has been built. As is my prerogative in this situation, I hereby temporarily suspend the summation examination. By Jupiter! What? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. Oh. This is quite extraordinary. Witnesses. Governor, were you listening to the proceedings while the defense carried out the summation examination? We was, Governor, we was. Perhaps we can dispense with the tedious preamble. Simply answer this one question. A third bullet has been identified at the scene of the crime. What do you make of that? Make of it, Gov? I don't make nothing of it. Of nothing. Is it one of yours? Go blimey, Governor, go blimey. Not a chance. In that case, did you happen to have an accomplice? What, eh? What? Never! Skulkin brothers work alone. It's just the 2 of us. That's our trademark. How soon we forget Paul Sulky? Only 2 of the bullets from the crime scene originated from the firearms we have in evidence. The third bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Lummy, that's an head scratcher. Counsel for the defense. Yes? I should like to hear your thoughts regarding these new developments. The third bullet, the mysterious missing firearm, from whence it came. Thinking back over all the testimony we've heard, all the evidence we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear what this third bullet tells us about the Skulkin brothers. It had nothing to do with them. It's very much like, that's where my mind's going. It had nothing to do with them. That's all I can think right now. It's like I believe it has nothing to do with them. Eh? Eh, Nash, eh? That's right. Yeah, nothing with us, Gov. Unless there is the other possibility of, like, they actually work for him. Could have been an accomplice that way. I don't know, you could take that either way. Either, like, they came in later, or they did come in with him. So we might lose something here. We've established that one bullet was fired from each of the two guns already known to the court. Logical conclusion, therefore, is that on the night in question, at Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery, there was another person present in possession of a third firearm. Whilst the brothers may have had nothing to do with the third gun or the bullet fired from it, it's inconceivable that they had nothing to do with the third man. Yes, the brothers were working with an accomplice who was carrying a gun. Oh, it still went the same way then, because it's that sort of thing. It's like the question itself, like they had nothing to do with it specifically, but the circumstances around it, well, I'm assuming only the middle option was wrong then. An accomplice, you say? Pigswill. These protracted proceedings have already forced us to endure 2 summation examinations. Yet in all that time, there has been not a murmur of a third man, if this apparently wraith-like being exists. This court must be shown hard evidence. Without it, this fantasy will be crushed. The prosecution demands answers on 2 counts. Firstly, proof, evidence, that this accomplice was ever at the scene of the crime. And secondly, the identity of this spurious character. Scorpion's a lion, I know that. But how can I ascertain the identity of the person they're hiding? Blood! Well, counsel? I'm supposed to prove the existence of the accomplice, reveal the person's identity even. In response to the prosecution's demands, my lord, the defense is ready to present answers. The defense is ready. I believe I can provide all the answers the prosecution demands. So, my Nipponese friend, despite the swimming eyes, you seem to think you have something to say. This promises to be interesting. I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single piece of evidence available to me if it will make a difference. In that case, counsel, I would ask you to present the evidence without delay. On the night in question, in the moments leading up to the death of the victim, what proof have you that there was a third intruder present at the scene? Should we get the music disc, or... Probably best be the blood samples, because that's the one that shows like the green so much in 2 locations, really, doesn't it? So, that's probably best.
Take that!
The evidence is right here, in this portfolio. By Jove, that portfolio again, is it? Do you expect the court to rifle through your papers itself? Be more specific. You claim one of the blood samples proves the presence of this third intruder. Well, which one is it? Well, either that one, or that one. Well, that one doesn't suggest the third intruder was present, just that it's connected and we can figure out who from that this one belongs to, but that suggests the third person was present, so...
Take that!
What am I looking at here? Appears to be some green paint or such like around the bullet hole in the middle of the calendar. That's a blood stain, my lord. A blood stain. Green blood. Curious even for you. Is the court to understand that the intruder was some unhuman creature? It's something developed by Mr. Herlock Sholmes. By the great detective. New invention, stop. Not yet appeared in stories, stop. It's this, you see. It doesn't have a name yet, though. This fogger sprays a chemical that reacts with the different elements in people's blood to change its color. Different elements of people's blood? Yes. Everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, as it's made up of different elements. So by seeing what color it changes to, you can tell in a flash whose blood it is. Oh, brings a whole extra dimension to looking at blood. Talk of blood in courtroom, stop. Very exciting, stop. As an example, this one shows the blood of the victim, Mr. Windybank. Ah, striking blue. Yes, so you see the green colour of this blood stain on the calendar shows that somebody else was shot in the main part of the shop. Now hold fire there, young man. Could be from some unrelated incident, couldn't it? No, it's not unrelated. The date showing on the calendar is the date on which Mr. Windybank was killed. By golly. Therefore, we can assume that whoever was shot was shot on the same day. Whose blood is it? Well, the skulking brothers in the stand don't appear to be suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be the blood of somebody else. The third intruder, in fact.
Objection!
Whose identity the court is still waiting to hear. You can't deny this any longer, my learned friend. Who is this alleged third intruder? Eggert Benedict.
Take that!
The man's name is Eggert Benedict. Eggert Benedict? What on earth are you talking about, counsel? He paid a visit to Windybank's pawnbroker on the afternoon before the incident took place, when the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing this article into her possession. How do you know that? That's right. The man identified by the defense, Mr. Eggert Benedict, then attempted to take the article from the defendant by force. Broker. Yes, sir? I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, the article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, any music box discs too. Inspector Gregson was there at the time, can attest to what happened. In the end, it was the inspector himself who took the disc. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord, that's more or less what happened. And in the interest of being thorough, I asked Windybank for a print showing the fellow. Taken from one of his red-handed recorder Gubbinses? Alright. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybank that morning. Do you claim this man is the brother's accomplice? Oh, Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. Never seen the geezer before in my life. On my life, Gov, on my life, never seen him. Well, somewhat unsurprisingly, it appears our witnesses disagree with the assertion. I'm sure your lordship recalls my learned Nipponese friend's actual assertion, which was that he could prove the identity of the alleged accomplice. Yes, and I can. Then show us the evidence. I agree. We must see proof that the clean-cut gentleman in the photograph is the filthy criminal you say he is. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling that something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to drag it kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your answer to the court then, counsel? Yes, my lord. The defense will present the evidence now. Proof that the man pictured in this photographic print was in fact the person struck by the third bullet. And that's where we're going to end this part. In the next part, we'll clearly present the music disc with the blood on it. That's what we have to do, really, isn't it? So we'll see you in the next part. Ta-ra for now.